Andromeda was running, her breath coming in ragged gaps as she darted through the narrow, dimly lit hallway of the boarding house. Shadows stretched like long, dark fingers, creeping closer as the terrifying creatures behind her gained ground. Their snails echoed, growing louder and more menacing with each step she took. She turned a corner, sharply hoping to lose them, but instead found herself facing a dead end. The creatures closed in, their glowing eyes piercing through the darkness, their sharp claws outstretched, ready to tear her apart. Just as they were about to pounce, Andromeda let out a silent scream, and then she woke up. Heart pounding, she sat up in bed, drenched in sweat, her breathing erratic. It took a moment for her to realize she was in her room, safe in her bed at home in Victoria Island, Lagos. It had been a nightmare, a vivid, terrifying nightmare. She glanced around her familiar room, trying to shake off the lingering fear. Andromeda, her mother's voice floated up the stairs. Time to get up. You don't want to be late on your first day. The nightmare was already fading, replaced by a mixture of excitement and nerves. Today was the day she and her best friend, Denise, were finally heading off to the boarding house at Royal Island Secondary School. It was a big step. They had just finished their junior secondary school and were about to start the senior secondary. After 3 years of avoiding boarding life, their curiosity had finally gotten the better of them. "Are you ready for this, Andy?" Denise asked. Denise's parents had dropped her off at Andromeda's house the day before. They were family friends, and Andromeda's parents had agreed to drive both girls to the boarding school. As they sat in the car on the way to the school, Denise, with bright smile and infectious energy, always managed to make Andromeda feel a little braver. "As ready as I'll ever be," Andromeda replied with a grin, though the knot of anxiety in her stomach had told a different story. "But remind me why we decided to do this again." "Because we are grown-ups now," Denise replied, her voice full of mock seriousness. "We can handle a little boarding school life. Plus, Bianca said it's all sunshine and rainbows, remember?" "Yeah, about that," Andromeda said, raising an eyebrow. "Why do I feel like Bianca might have left out some crucial details?" Bianca, their other friend, had convinced them that boarding school was the best place to be. She had told them stories of independence, fun, midnight snacks, and bonding with fellow students that Andromeda and Denise couldn't resist. But now, sitting in the car, Andromeda couldn't help but wonder if Bianca's tales were too good to be true. When they arrived at the school, the imposing gates of Royal Island Secondary School seemed to loom larger than before. The boarding house, a grand, modern, futuristic building, looked almost welcoming in the morning light. But as they stepped inside, a chill ran down Andromeda's spine. Their house mistress, a stern woman named Mrs. Williams, greeted them with a tight-lipped smile. "Welcome, girls," she said in a tone that suggested this wasn't exactly a warm welcome. "You'll be in dormitory B. Follow me." The dormitory was a large, echoey room lined with metal bunk beds, and the windows were barred, letting in only a sliver of sunlight. As they walked in, Andromeda noticed a group of older girls lying on top of the bunks, eyeing the newcomers with thinly veiled interest. "So this is it, huh?" Denise whispered as they dropped their bags on the 2 empty beds near the corner. Andromeda nodded, feeling uneasy under the watchful gaze of older girls. "Yeah, this is it," Andromeda replied. It didn't take long for Andromeda and Denise to realize that Bianca's promises of a smooth, carefree boarding life were far from reality. The senior students in Year 11 and Year 12 quickly made their presence felt. They were demanding, bossy, and seemed to delight in making life miserable for the new boarders. "Go and take care of my laundry," one of them barked at Denise on their second day. "Go fetch me a bucket of water," another senior barked at Andromeda. When Andromeda and Denise tried to report to Mrs. Williams, the house mistress, she simply waved them off. "Respect your seniors," she said, her tone leaving no room for arguments. "It's part of boarding school life. You will get used to it," she added nonchalantly. Andromeda was burning with rage by the time they left Mrs. Williams' office. "Get used to it. Are you kidding me?" she muttered under her breath. Denise shook her head. Bianca had some explaining to do. When they cornered their friend Bianca later that evening and asked her why she lied about the boarding school being all rosy for the senior Year 10 students, Bianca said, "Okay, maybe I didn't tell you everything," she admitted, twisting a strand of her hair like a spoiled brat. "Maybe," Andromeda echoed, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Bianca, you made it sound like a vacation. You didn't mention the part where we are basically servants to the senior Year 11 and Year 12 students." Bianca laughed awkwardly. "It's not that bad once you get used to it. Besides, it's a rite of passage, right? Everyone goes through it." "Yeah, well, it's a rite of passage I could have done without," Denise muttered. The midterm holiday couldn't come soon enough. When Andromeda and Denise returned home, they poured out their complaints to their parents, expecting some sympathy. But to their dismay, their parents were less than understanding. "Boarding school is supposed to be challenging," Denise's father said, his tone firm as always. "It's all part of growing," he added. Andromeda's parents told her, "You will be fine, Andy. Just stick together with your friend Denise and face the challenges head on."
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
And so, when the holiday ended, Andromeda and Denise returned to the boarding house, their spirits dampened but determined to make the best of it. Little did they know the worst was yet to come. As the days went by, they noticed strange things happening in the boarding house. Whispers in the corridors, missing belongings, and late-night meetings that the seniors seemed to be attending. It was as if something dark was brewing beneath the surface, something that made the harmless bullying they had experienced seem trivial in comparison. Then, one night, Andromeda and Denise overheard a conversation between two of the senior girls. They were talking in hushed tones, their faces serious. "The pink devils are getting bolder," one of them said. "We need to be careful." "Andromeda," Denise whispered urgently, grabbing her arm. "Did you hear that?" Andromeda nodded, her heart pounding. Something was definitely wrong. They had stumbled into something far more sinister than they had ever imagined. And whatever it was about to change their lives forever. Andromeda had never been so frightened in her life. As she watched from the shadows, her heart pounded in her chest, threatening to leap out. She had heard whispers about secret cults in the boarding school, but seeing it with her own eyes was another thing entirely. That night, she and Denise had snuck out of their hostel to retrieve a book Andromeda had forgotten in the library. They didn't mean to linger, but then they heard a soft chanting followed by muffled giggles and something that sounded like Bianca's voice. Andromeda froze. Hidden in the darkness, she watched as Bianca, their so-called friend, stood in the middle of a circle of girls, all dressed in pink clothes. They were performing some kind of initiation ritual. The chants grew louder, and the air around them seemed to crackle with a strange energy. Andromeda's eyes widened in disbelief. She tugged at Denise's sleeve, signaling for them to retreat before they were seen. They managed to slip away unnoticed, but not before catching a glimpse of Bianca smiling eerily as the initiation ceremony concluded. The next day, Denise was still shaking. "I can't believe Bianca is involved in that cult, Pink Devils, or whatever they call themselves," she whispered as they sat in the library. The library was now their sanctuary from the madness of the boarding school life. "I knew something was off about Bianca," Andromeda said, her voice barely above a whisper. "But I didn't think it was this bad." Their conversation was cut short when Sharon, a senior student from year 12, strolled over to their table, her presence instantly commanding attention. She sat with them, a smirk playing on her lips. "I couldn't help but overhear you girls talking about Zavido's show the other day," she began, her voice dripping with mock innocence. "Are you girls fans of Zavido?" Andromeda's eyes lit up. "Yes, he's my favorite music artist. I wish I could go to his concert." Sharon's smirk widened. "Well, today is your lucky day. I have 2 extra tickets. How about you and Denise join me tomorrow night for the show? It will be fun." The offer was tempting. Andromeda and Denise exchanged uncertain glances. They knew sneaking out was risky, but the excitement of seeing Zavido live was too much to resist. After some persuasion, they agreed to go. The next day at night, Sharon led them through a secret path away from the watchful eyes of the hostel mistresses, especially Mrs. Williams. The concert was everything they imagined: loud, exhilarating, and unforgettable. Andromeda felt a surge of euphoria as Zavido's music filled the air. For a brief moment, they forgot all about the strange cult initiation they had witnessed. But the next morning, reality came crashing down. Andromeda and Denise were called to meet with Tina, another senior student. Tina wasted no time in getting to the point. "You girls had a good time last night, didn't you?" Andromeda's heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean?" she asked cautiously. Tina's smile was chilling. "We've got pictures. You sneaking out, jumping the school fence, partying with Zavido. It would be such a shame if these ended up with your parents, wouldn't it?" Denise's face drained of color. "What do you want from us?" Denise asked. "It's simple," Tina replied, her tone smooth and calculated. "Join the Black Bra, or the pictures get sent out. You have 3 days to decide." Andromeda's heart raced. The Black Bra was the last thing she wanted to get involved in. She had heard rumors about the Black Bra secret cult, which was the female counterpart to the boys' Black Demons cult. The Black Bra cult existed before the Pink Devils cult was formed. The Pink Devils are the female counterpart to the boys' Red Devils cult. In the boys' hostel, the Red Devils are rivals to the Black Demons. Just as in the girls' hostel, the Black Bra cult is a rival to the Pink Devils. Andromeda never imagined being dragged into the rivalry between the 2 gangs. Denise, on the other hand, was petrified. "We have no choice. Denise whispered frantically to Andromeda. "My dad will kill me if he finds out I sneaked out of the hostel for a party. We have to join Black Bra." Andromeda's stomach churned. She didn't want to join a cult, but the fear of the photos leaking was overwhelming. "I guess we have no choice," Andromeda agreed reluctantly. 3 nights later, they were led to an uncompleted hostel block. The place was dimly lit, and the air was thick with tension. Sharon, Tina, and other Black Bra members were there, waiting. The initiation ceremony was brief but intense, with rituals that made Andromeda's skin crawl. By the end of it, she and Denise were officially members of the Black Bra cult. From that moment on, everything changed. Andromeda noticed how Denise began to drift away, spending more time with Sharon and the other girls. Denise started skipping classes, sneaking out often, and even picked up smoking. Andromeda tried to talk sense into her, but Denise seemed beyond reason. The tension between the Black Bra and the Pink Devil, their rival, escalated when Bianca, now a member of the Pink Devils, managed to snatch Pascal, a popular handsome boy in year 11, from Sharon. The feud between the cults turned violent, culminating in a brutal fight that shook the entire school. But nothing could have prepared Andromeda for what happened next. One evening, Denise disappeared without a trace. Andromeda searched everywhere, the library, the sick bay, but Denise was nowhere to be found. Panic set in as the school launched a search for Denise, but the more they searched, the more hopeless it seemed. Andromeda, tired, sat alone in the hostel, fighting back tears. Kaima, a notorious member of the Pink Devils, approached her. "Stop crying," Kaima said with a sly smile. Andromeda glared at her. "What do you want?" Andromeda asked harshly and looked at Kaima with suspicion, because Kaima, being a member of the Pink Devils, just might know what happened to her friend Denise. Andromeda believed that the Pink Devils were behind her best friend's disappearance.
The people behind your friend's disappearance are closer than you think.
"What do you mean?" Andromeda demanded, but Kaima just laughed and walked away, leaving Andromeda more confused and terrified than ever. Andromeda wanted to leave Royal Island Secondary School. Her parents were already considering withdrawing her after hearing about Denise's disappearance, and Denise's parents had already involved the police in the case of their daughter's missing status. But something inside Andromeda refused to leave Royal Island School. Denise was her best friend, and Andromeda was determined to find out what really happened to her, even if it meant facing the darkness that lurked within the school. The rivalry between the Black Bra girls and the Pink Devils had reached a boiling point, but it was the boys' hostel that erupted first. The Red Devil, encouraged by their Pink Devil girlfriends, launched a brutal attack on the Black Demon boys. The tension that had simmered for months boiled over into a full-blown war, shaking the very foundations of Royal Island Secondary School. The school authorities, furious and determined to restore order, conducted a thorough investigation. The evidence was undeniable. Several members of the Red Devils were found guilty of violence and were promptly expelled. The expulsion of the Red Devil boys from the school hit the Pink Devils hard, sending shockwaves through their ranks. Bianca, now a full member of the Pink Devils, was livid. She couldn't let this humiliation stand. They needed to hit back harder and darker.
Go, 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 go.
Driven by a thirst for vengeance, Bianca led a small group of Pink Devil out of the hostel at night. They crept through the dense forest surrounding the school until they reached the shrine of a powerful wizard. With desperate eyes and trembling hands, they pleaded for his help to unleash terror on the Black Bra girls. The wizard, a twisted smile playing on his lips, agreed. He conjured a ghost, a grotesque figure with matted hair and fiery eyes that seemed to burn through the night. The ghost was released with a single command: to hunt every member of the Black Bra. The very next night, the ghost, with his sinister figure, darted through the darkened halls of the girls' hostel, chasing the terrified Black Bra members. He was relentless as he pursued them. The once confident Black Bra girls were now living in constant fear, unable to sleep, unable to think. The Pink Devils watched with glee as their enemies crumbled under the supernatural assault. But while the others cowered in fear, Andromeda was furious. The ghost hunt was a cruel distraction, pulling her away from her true mission of finding her missing friend, Denise. Denise was presumed dead by now, but Andromeda refused to give up. She decided to tackle the ghost problem first, to free herself and other girls from the torment of the ghost, so she can focus on finding Denise. Andromeda remembered her grandmother, a wise woman who lived deep in the village. Her grandmother had always shunned modern conveniences, choosing instead to live in an old hut surrounded by nature, embracing the traditional African religion. Desperate and determined, Andromeda sneaked out of the hostel and made the long journey to the village. When she arrived, her grandmother's face lit up with joy. "Andy, my baby," she exclaimed, embracing her granddaughter. But her smile faded when she saw the tears in Andromeda's eyes. She knew something was terribly wrong. Andromeda poured out her heart, recounting the nightmare she was living through at school. The cult, the blackmail, the ghost, and most of all, Denise's disappearance. Her grandmother listened intently, her face growing more serious by the minute. When Andromeda finished, her grandmother simply nodded and stood up, heading to her room to dress. "We need to visit the spiritualist," her grandmother said, her voice firm and calm. They walked deep into the forest to a remote part of the village where the spiritualist lived. The old spiritualist listened as Andromeda explained her plight. He nodded slowly and then handed her a small pouch filled with a mysterious powder. "Spray this on the ghost," he instructed. "It will chase it away. But be warned, the ghost will not go quietly. it will turn on those who summoned it. Andromeda nodded, grateful for the help. As for your friend, the spiritualist continued, you must walk around the hostel 7 times for 7 nights under the moonlight. Chant this phrase as you walk. Spirits of truth, spirits of light, reveal the fates hidden in the night. On the 7th night, you will receive a revelation. You will know if your friend is alive or dead. And if she is dead, you will know who killed her. Andromeda thanked the spiritualist and her grandmother, begging her not to tell her parents what was happening. Her grandmother promised to keep her secret. Back at the hostel, Andromeda gathered the black bra girls in a dark room, telling them to wait for the ghost to appear. As expected, the ghost appeared. His twisted face grinning as he rushed towards them. But before he could reach them, Andromeda threw the mysterious powder at it. The substance sparked as it touched the ghost, who screamed in agony and floated out of the room. But the ghost didn't disappear. Instead, it turned on the pink devils who had unleashed him. The ghost, now holding a whip, began lashing the pink devils mercilessly. Especially Bianca. Bianca screamed in pain, shouting out some strange fetish words before the ghost finally vanished into the night.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go, go.
The black bra girls, now free from the ghost torment, were furious. With their fear turned to rage, they confronted the pink devils. A brutal fight broke out, but this time, the black bra girls were victorious. The pink devils, battered and defeated, surrendered and swore never to interfere with the black bra girls again. With the ghost problem solved, Andromeda turned her attention back to Denise. She steeled herself for 7 nights of walking and chanting, hoping with all her heart that Denise was still alive. The police were investigating the case, and the school authority were going through a lot because of the case. Andromeda, on her part, was determined to find her friend, dead or alive. The battle wasn't over yet. It's just getting started. For 7 nights, Andromeda walked under the pale moonlight, repeating the words the spiritualist had given her. Spirits of truth, spirits of light, reveal the fates hidden in the night. With each repetition, she felt closer to the truth, her heart heavy with anticipation and dread. On the 7th night, as she circled the hostel for the last time, she heard a voice, Sharon's voice. Andromeda quickly hid in the shadows and overheard Sharon talking to someone on a cell phone, drunkenly boasting, "Skimo, you can see my idea with Denise is giving us cool cash. I will come over this week." The words cut through Andromeda like a knife. She wanted to leap out and tear Sharon apart. But Kaima's warning echoed in her mind.
The people behind your friend's disappearance are closer than you think.
This was no longer just about physical strength. It was about mental resilience. Denise was alive, thank goodness. But Andromeda needed to play it smart. Andromeda kept a close watch on Sharon for that week. One night, when Sharon slipped out of the hostel, Andromeda followed. She knew this was her chance. She had a cell phone. All members of the Black Bra were given cell phones, even though cell phones weren't allowed by the school authority. Andromeda used her cell phone to call her parents, pinned her location, and urged them to contact the police. This was no time for secrets. Denise's life was at stake. Sharon led her to a dingy house in the depths of Lagos Island. Andromeda's heart raced as the police, along with her parents, arrived silently. They stormed the house, finding Denise chained and emaciated, her eyes hollow but still holding a spark of life. Sharon and Skimo, the vile pimp, were arrested on the spot. Their confessions spilled out easily. They had kidnapped Denise, enslaved her, and kept her compliant by forcing her to drink intoxicating beverages. They then offered her to men for money. Denise was freed and rushed to the hospital, where she was slowly revived. Andromeda sat beside her, holding her hand tightly, both girls crying silently. When Denise's parents arrived, the girls confessed the truth, raw and painful, leaving no secrets hidden. The school authorities were notified, and the scandal made headlines. The school was shut down indefinitely, pending an investigation into the cult activities that had poisoned its walls. On the day Denise was discharged, she and Andromeda walked side by side to the car, their parents trailing behind. As they reached the car, Denise turned to Andromeda, her voice soft but resolute. "It's not about what happens to us, Andy," she said, tears brimming in her eyes. "It's about how we rise above it." Andromeda nodded. "Yes, one of our greatest freedom is how we react to things," Andromeda said, and she continued, "We'll strive to be the best versions of ourselves, Denise, no matter what happens." With those words, they embraced, holding on to each other as they stepped into a future where they would no longer be victims, but survivors, stronger, wiser, and true to themselves.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range, cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negative.